Good evening, and thank you to the American Legion for putting this together today. I know it's getting late, and I won't be long. I also want to thank the Hampton Bays Fire Department for this beautiful monument that we have to come and commemorate our fallen. This weekend, around the world, especially in this country, we've had commemorative memorials honoring the dead and some of those still living the tragedy of 9/11. I don't particularly think that's the best word, but actually it fits the description. It was a cowardly attack. I know the word tragedy does fit, but I like to refer to it as a cowardly attack on our way of life. As time marches on, the wounds heal, but the scars are still there. And we have to remember all that happened that day. We have to remember those people on Flight 93 who just got on an airplane and who had the courage in a time of crisis to say, let's roll and take care of business and save lives for a plane that was maybe heading towards the White House or the Capitol. We have to always remember those men and women who were just going to work that day at the Twin Towers. That was their only crime, going to work. We can never forget those men and women going to work at the Pentagon who were attacked by a fourth plane. We can never forget the mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers of the families who have to live with this forever. Today, we have in our minds the thoughts and prayers of all our brothers and sisters from these barbaric attacks. I want to share one personal story that happened to me and us that day. And the reason Richard asked me to speak is because I did respond the day after 9/11, along with the Hampton Bays Fire Department, to the World Trade Center. Later in the day on 9/11, I received a phone call from my mother. And like all of us, the anxiety was running high. Now, I have two brothers who were police lieutenants, both in Manhattan, my brother Thomas and my brother John. My cousin Mickey is a fire chief in the city of New York, also working in Manhattan. My mom said to me, Michael got killed today. And my mind immediately went to my cousin Mickey, the fire chief. She said, no, Billy, your cousin Michael Curtin. Michael Sean Curtin was a sergeant in the NYPD in the Emergency Service Unit. And he served on Truck 2 out of Harlem. Michael had another title, Sergeant Major, United States Marine Corps. He served over 20 years as a Marine on active duty and in the reserves. During that time, he was deployed to Iraqi freedom, and during his time with the New York Police Department, he was at the first World Trade Center bombing. He was deployed to Oklahoma City for the terrorist attacks there, and finally, he was killed on 9/11. My cousin Michael was last seen leaving the towers, assisting people, getting them out. He was running back in, like many of the responders, to get people out. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions on 9/11. My cousin Michael left a wife and 3 young daughters and an extended family, friends, innumerable colleagues that will forever remember him. But that's just one little vignette, one story. there are 3,000 stories, and I thought about the 3,000 stories. I can't do the math. It's not calculable to do the math because it's well beyond 3,000. It's all the friends, families, spouses, children that were born and never knew their parents, unborn children. It's about the disease, mental and physical, that still goes on in the responders that went that day. For us here today, it's somewhat easier to remember all this. It's a little more vivid in our mind. I want to mention 4 human beings from this hamlet in Hampton Bays who perished that day. Arthur J. Jones III. He was 37 years old. He worked at Car Futures in the World Trade Center. Matthew G. Vianney, 23 years old, the only son of Marilinda and Denny Vianney, and the grandson of Mary Louise Kelly, a venerated patriarch of this post and my VFW post. He was also working at the World Trade Center. Terrence D. Gazzani, 24 years old, the only child of Tracy and Marty Gazzani, working for Cantor Fitzgerald at the World Trade Center. So what do we take from this today after all these ceremonies and memorials all day? We've heard it on national TV. We can never forget. And we must educate, especially those who follow behind us. In our schools, firstly in our homes, in our schools, and in our churches and houses of worship. We must continue what we've done today, and we must explain to them that this was an evil act. But we also must explain about the heroes who came and helped. In closing, I want to quote Thomas Jefferson, who told us, "The price of freedom is eternal vigilance." God bless you all, and God bless America.